Ethereum just slipped out of its down channel, Wall Street money is rotating in, and even Vitalik is quietly stacking fresh Ethereum. Today, I'll show you the 3 price targets hidden in the weekly fib extensions, targets that line up shockingly well with a flood of ETF inflows and on-chain activity that hasn't been this bullish. Stay to the end, because missing the final breakout level could cost you a 4-figure move per coin. And I'll reveal a sniper-safe stop-loss that keeps you in profit while the market shakes out the tourists. Ready? Let's decode the $10,000 roadmap. Zooming into the weekly chart. For half a year, Ethereum had been trapped inside this suffocating yellow descending channel, stair-stepping lower while Bitcoin soaked up the spotlight. We finally punched clean through the top rail, closing above both the 382 fib and the VRVP's heaviest resistance shelf. That break wasn't just technical relief. It was the moment sellers realized their ammo was gone. The Heikin-Ashi RSI indicator has turned green and is holding steady, signaling trend acceleration rather than a dead cat bounce. See that thin dashed red line hovering at $1,900? That's the invalidation level. As long as a weekly candle never settles below it, this breakout stands. Crypto Rover's So-So Value dashboard just exposed a plot twist. While Bitcoin ETFs bled $267 million in outflows, Ethereum ETF soaked up $78 million in a single day. In other words, institutional allocators are rebalancing from orange to lilac. Add Mr. Crypto's running tally. Over 3,250 Ethereum absorbed since seed day. The message is crystal clear. Funds want exposure before Ethereum's ETF staking rewards goes live. Money flow precedes headlines. Price follows money. Crypto Bullet lines up 3 fresh ascending triangles. Ethereum dominance, Ethereum Bitcoin, and Ethereum dollar. All 3 are coiling under horizontal lids. Break any one of them, and the rest usually detonate in sympathy. Remember the fractal where Ethereum Bitcoin ripped 100% in 2 months back in 2017? Same geometry, smaller time frame. If Ethereum Bitcoin pops, Altseason's ignition key turns. And Ethereum is the engine bolted to that key. Meanwhile, Ted Pillows spotted Ethereum's bearded mastermind buying $783,000 in spot Ethereum and then tucking $1.83 million into Railgun's privacy pool. Vitalik rarely times tops. He funds research grants and charity at peaks and accumulates during fear. His Railtrack stash tells me he sees asymmetric upside and wants to shield those coins before the crowd gets loud. Flipping to Artemis, CryptoGooz highlights the last 24 hours of stablecoin inflows. Ethereum dwarfs every L1 and L2 combined, sucking in liquidity like it's 2020's DeFi summer again. Add Grow the Pie's chart of active addresses, now topping 17.4 million and rising 1% week on week, and the network looks primed for a throughput spike. Remember, price is a trailing indicator of usage, and usage just hit a multi-year high. Ted's second post overlays Bitcoin's 2020 recovery with today's Ethereum structure. 4 consecutive 2-week green candles after a 62% drawdown. In 2020, that pattern preceded Bitcoin's 1,190% rally. The Ethereum analog project's a move from $2,600 to roughly $19,000 if history rhymes. Even half that gain lines up with our fib extension at $11,200. Crypto Caesar zooms out to relabel 18 months of chop as textbook Wyckoff Re-Accumulation. Phase C spring at $1,720, a creek breakout in April, and now the SOS rally. If this schematic continues, Ethereum should march through the $4,100 resistance and never look back. That matches TP1, on our chart $5,790, where I plan to secure 30% of position size before letting runners chase the parabolic leg. Let's stitch everything together. The Fibonacci confluence gives us TP1 at 5,700, harvest 30%. TP2 at 8,500, lock another 50%. And TP3 cluster between 11,000 and 13,000. Leave the moon bag 20%. All of that risk is managed by a single rule. A weekly close under 1,900 yanks the cord. That's a 27% downside buffer versus a 300 to 400% upside window. Better than a Vegas odds board on fight night. By the way, nailing Ethereum's trajectory is only half the game. Once price tiers through our fib highways, stackers, farmers, and airdrop hunters will feast on yields nobody's penciling in yet. If you don't already have a step-by-step playbook for turning dormant Ethereum into compounding yield, you're leaving money on the validator table. That's exactly why I wrote DeFi Financial Freedom, the ultimate beginner's guide. It distills every strategy I've used, liquid staking loops, layer 2 yield funnels, even stealth airdrop positioning, into plain English you can action in a weekend. Grab it for $4.99 via the pinned comment. By the time Ethereum tags TP1, the book will have paid for itself tenfold. Institutional rotation, Vitalik accumulation, record-breaking address growth, and a textbook Wyckoff launchpad. It's hard not to feel 2020 deja vu. Could macro headwinds or regulatory curveballs delay the rally? Absolutely. That's why we respect the $1,900 invalidation and keep emotions on ice. But if the data we dissected holds, even at 50% of past performance, Ethereum is on a glide path to redraw what a blue-chip crypto can do. Before you jet, smash that like button if today's roadmap added clarity to the chaos. Drop a comment. Do you think Ethereum peaks above or below $10,000 this cycle? I read and reply every single one. Don't forget to tap subscribe and ring the bell. Finally, YouTube's about to queue up my previous deep dive on Polygon's ag layer and the stealth Uniswap narrative that could front-run Ethereum's breakout. Click it, keep learning, and as always, trade smart, live free, and let your crypto work harder than you do. Not financial advice. Just one DeFi to generate, sharing hard-won lessons.